So I know a lot of you are curious about how do I store my chicken feed and dog feed and keep it so the pests don't get in it. These right here are Gamma Seal containers, and I got them off of Amazon. But this holds 50 pounds. This one holds 25 pounds or 20 pounds. And then another like 40 pounds and 40 pounds. And then I got this at Walmart, and it has a Gamma Seal on the inside of it. I've used this for years to hold my dog food. And it holds just under, literally just under 20 pounds, 25 pounds. I've got, I just refilled it with a 14-pound bag, and I had some left in the bottom, so not all of the 14-pound bag would fit in there, but normally I take it all the way down to nothing and then buy another bag. But anyway, with everything going on, I figured I'd top off. And this little container for Duke there will last about 6 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks. It will last him. Now this chicken feed, this is all full. It's 100 pounds of the Curry Tuck egg maker. I get it from my local granary, and it's like $20 for 50 pounds. And then this one here I get from the other granary, which is right down the road down that way, and that is a premium game bird feed. So I mix this together along with, I add my own, as you can see, my own mealworms and oyster shell and grit, and so I have my own that I mix in with that mix, plus most of my garden out here, most of the greens that I pull out of my garden, I take and I give to them. So anything that I'm not using or not eating ends up in the chicken run, and they get fed. They are very happy, trust me. But I wanted to show you these because I think that if you're trying to store food, and see, it's that's the thing that came with it. So I mean, it's Gamma Seal, keeps pests out, keeps it fresh, it's BPA free. Let's see if I can't pull this out of here. It's called Vittles Vault. Like I said, that little one holds like 25 pounds, and the bigger one is 50 pounds. But you can see everything on it is it's threaded. Keeps the freshness in, keeps the pest out. And I found that even if I store this in the shed, the mice, it's such a thick, hard rubber that the mice have nibbled on like a corner of one of them. I don't remember which one, but they never got into it. So since I saw that they were nibbling on it, I brought it into the house here, to keep it within a temperature controlled area, which is the other thing you want to do, is you want to keep your stuff in a temperature controlled area. But yeah, I thought I'd show that to you. For those of you who are new to prepping, this is an easy way to do it for your pet foods, and you can even put rice in there, but if you put rice in there, I highly recommend that you freeze your rice first in the freezer, which is what I've got going on here. Let me show you. I know my freezer is so old, but see, I've got rice down here Okay, and I got the beans in here, and I'm freezing them for a week. You know, spaghetti noodles. See, everything gets frozen in the deep freeze for a week before I transfer them either to another vittle containers with oxygen absorbers inside a Mylar bag inside this container, or into canning jars with an oxygen absorber. I use a lot of canning jars for the rice, obviously, but I use a lot of canning jars. But you can do whatever you want to do. I just think that if you are looking for an easy way to store pet food, that's an easy way to do it. Now, you can also do it inside a metal trash can, and then on the inside of that metal trash can, you want to put either a huge Mylar bag or plastic bag of some kind that's thick enough that you can seal it, you know, with a seal. That's good if you have a lot of animals, but I've only got like 5 chickens and the dog. So I don't need 300 pounds of chicken feed in a container that I'm going into and out of all the time. So 25 pounds of chicken feed normally will last me 2 months. And that's because I supplement, like I said, I supplement my chicken feed with natural food out of the yard. You know, if I do grass clippings or I cut the grass, or I do lawn trimmings, you know, weed eat around the house, pulling weeds out of the garden, that all goes to the chickens. Okay, they get a lot of kale, they get a lot of lettuce, a lot of tomatoes, because I have a lot of tomatoes that tend to fall off, and so I give them those, right? I do not give them potatoes. Please, if you have chickens, do not feed your chickens potatoes, okay? That just is not good for them. It's also not good for them to feed them a lot of like white bread, okay? I do give them white bread on occasion, just because sometimes I have the ends of the loaf that I didn't use, and so I give them that, and I break it up for them. I also give them back the eggshells. I normally cook the eggshells and then grind them down into powder and add that to their food. But I also give them oyster shell. You can do that. It's probably great to do that. You can also use the eggshells. You can grind the eggshells up and add them to your garden beds. That adds calcium, obviously, into the soil. So, yeah, that's what I do, and that's what I have for you today. And I hope that that's a helpful tip to you. Like I said when I started this channel, I'll give you things that I do. Now, I do have one other item that I'm researching that I haven't had the opportunity to try out yet, and that is a thing called a water brick. I have stored water in it now for about a month, and I'm going to be testing it out probably sometime this coming week to see if I got any impurities in the water while it was stored, and just to test it for overall quality. So far, I'm enthusiastic about the product, but you know, I need to test it and make sure that the water is still soluble after a month or two. Realistically, I've got it out of the sun. I've got it in temperature controlled area in the house here, and so we're going to see how that works. You know, it's always every day thinking of things that you can do and reusing things that you have. Like, I reuse 2-liter bottles. I reuse them. I think I've showed a video. I reuse them for planters. I reuse them for waterers. I reuse them for everything, okay? If I can store water in them in the house for washing, I'll store water in them in the house for washing, okay? If I can use them for watering the plants with little toppers that you get, I'll do that. I'll drill holes in them and turn them into waterers, okay? It all depends on what you need to use, and prepping does not have to be expensive. You need to do it with your mind on how you can do it with what you have available. I have tree limbs fall down in my yard all the time. I use those tree limbs for a bonfire. Okay, so I can take those tree limbs, chop them up, and use them in my little camping stove. Okay, and cook on my camping stove. So try and look at things with a different light of not losing anything that you have and not throwing away stuff that you could reuse for something. But at the same token, you do not want to be a hoarder, okay? So you can see my house is kind of disorganized. I got stuff everywhere, but I can walk through my house. My house is fairly clean. Don't get me wrong, I'm in and out of the house all day long, so, you know, it's not going to be spotless. There's a line between prepping and hoarding. And I think a lot of people see these shows on hoarders, and they start to lump preppers in with hoarders. I am not a hoarder. Everything that I have, I use. Now, everything that I've stored, I normally store up food. This is a time of year where I start storing up food to get me through the winter months. And this is normally how I prep. I prep for 6 months to a year, food on the shelf to get me through winter, because I know that my job a lot of times in winter slows way down just because of the roads being closed, snow and ice, and so my hours get cut way back. Okay, now unfortunately I'm experiencing that right now with my job due to everything that's going on with the economy and overseas and just the whole mess that's going on right now. I'm seeing lower hours than what I would typically see this time of year. And because of my preps and because I have, you know, squirreled away stuff to get me through times like the winter, I'm surviving. Okay, I'm actually thriving a little bit. Okay, but you never stop. You never stop your thought process on, can I use this for something? Or should I just throw it away? Here's an idea that a lot of people don't think about. That cardboard box. Now, I could throw that cardboard box away. I could fill that cardboard box with soil and put some potatoes in it and grow some potatoes in it. I could cut that cardboard box up and use it as mulch in my garden beds. Or I could reuse that cardboard box to put stuff in it and put it on a shelf so that it's stored nicely. Specifically, I'm not talking about food now, because you don't want to store your food in cardboard. I'm talking about stuff like shampoo, body wash, soap. I could store it in the box right there, and now I've got a box that's got soap products in it for me that's easy to grab and go if I need it. So that's my words for you today. Is you know, I don't consider myself this massively prepper type person so much as I consider myself more of a realist. Okay, and a realist looks at what's happening and prepares for what's happening. That way they can survive over the hump that's coming their way. So that's what I have for you today. And hopefully that's helpful to some of you. I hope so. I hope I'm not just talking out my butt to nobody in particular. But I hope that helps you, and we'll talk at you next week. Bicycle.